And welcome back to Conversation Convo Combos. And yeah, my co host Mike, and I'm your host, Brian.
So today we are gonna do um, a topic of creepypastas.
Oh, jeez.
Yep, gave you a little hint before we started, but um, creepypastas not necessarily strictly like talking about
any
any particular
specific
one,
ones,
but just in
just in
general.
general.
What are some creepypastas that stood out to you that really reconcile, like remember and
One
keep?
I definitely got to remember was you know which one I'm talking about, the never ending room. I think it was like 21 rooms or something like that.
Like where he every time he enters the door, it's another
It's a
room.
huge different
Yeah, it's
different
totally
environment
different.
and stuff. Like the thing that got me the most creeped out was the fact that when he thought he left the environment or he left the building after going through those trials and tribulations, going through each door,
He was
he
in
went
just
home.
another
Yeah, he
room.
went home. He opened up the door, and then he was just like, "Oh, thank God that nightmare's over" and stuff like that. And he definitely he went to bed and he went to sleep, and then he woke up, and then he's just like, something doesn't seem right. Then he got out of bed, and then he went to open up his bedroom door. It was pretty much the same, like his living room, kitchen, everything was still at the same place. But then when he went to go leave his house, there was a number on his, like, just saying that gives me goosebumps. There was a number on his door, and I felt so bad, but I was so sketched out because it's just like, imagine going through that experience of going to a place that, like, hey, you know, so and so said that, you should try out this place because, like, it has, like, it's a, like, a scary mystery house, whatever, like that. And they have, like, these, like, little, like, like, funny or, like, crazy things. Like, like, I'm down for that. Like, I like doing stuff like that. You go in there, and then you're going through, the first door. First door doesn't seem too crazy, like, okay, like, a little funny and, like, kind of corny. Go through the second door, okay, like, this is getting a little bit interesting. Third door is like, okay, things are getting a little weird, like, why is this environment so differently? You keep on going through each door, and then the more you go into it, the worse it gets. Then it's bringing up your childhood trauma. It's bringing up,
Mm,
like, like,
yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about
you know which
now.
one I'm talking about. It's
I was
bringing
just
up,
about
like,
to.
horrific
Yeah,
images and stuff like that, and then it's fucking with your mind. It's making you think that, like, oh, like, you're talking to someone, but then, like, you're
they're
not really
not.
talking to
Yeah,
the person. And then, you go to try to follow them, and then you open up the door, then it's just a whole different room, or you start back to where you were, and it's like, dude, what the fuck? And then to come home at your own sanctum, that, like, literally, you know when you
yeah.
come home, and everything, like, in the bits and bouts.
I think there's one point in that creepypasta where I think he makes it to like the seventh floor or the seventh, like, I don't know if it's the same one. If this
I think it
yours has
is the
floors.
seventh room.
Yeah, it's like this one that I'm talking about has floors where
Oh,
he
okay.
goes up in the floors, and the same concept where things get weirder and more messed up, and he starts like seeing things that he's like, is that real? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Like, and it keeps getting worse and worse, and then it gets to a point where finally he gets to a part where like he starts seeing some of his like co-workers or whatever are dead and mangled or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's like, what the hell? And he finds like a couple of them that aren't like, they're hurt but they're not like hurt,
Yeah.
and he's like, well, clearly like some of the messed up stuff that I experienced and some of the like unruly creatures that I didn't know even existed that tried to attack me must have got to these guys.
Yeah.
And so he asked, he was like, are you guys like, hey? And then they were like, dude, you get to the seventh floor. People are saying you're gonna get to the seventh floor and you get to actually relax, but you're not gonna want to leave because what comes after the seventh floor, people have never they've come back from there, but they've said they can't do it, and then they end up dying. just because
Damn.
their heart stops and all kinds of stuff because they're so freaking scared. And it was just
Yeah.
like, dude. And then he actually it progresses through of him going to the seventh floor, and it's like you said, like messed up stuff. Like he sees people that are like he knows are dead that got brought back, and they're having full fledged conversations with him about stuff that he personally remembers talking to them about, and he's like, how would no one would know that we talked about this stuff other than me and you?
The thing I love about creepypastas is the description detail.
Mm-hmm.
When you put that description detail on certain things, like your boy, what's his name that wears those flannels,
Mr.
and you go,
Ballin.
yeah, Mr. Bond, Mr. Bond. Shout out to Mr. Bond. He does an amazing job with description detail. If there's one dude that can like explain the story to
Mm-hmm.
you, that's your dude right there. But it's just the fact alone of giving the detail. Like if you go into your room and then like you have like you smell something in a
Mm-hmm.
certain type of smell, and they're
Yeah.
able to describe that. It just gives you like that picture in your mind. It's like, oh god, like that sounds rancid. Like that smells horrible.
Yeah.
Or like we all know what blood smells like,
Like
you
he'll talk
know.
about you could smell the iron in the air, and
Yes.
his eyes were starting to water because
Hmm.
it was just so like
Or you feel that
intense.
adrenaline, like it's one of those types of feeling. This is a scary feeling. It's kind of like sleep paralysis is when you're laying in
Yeah.
bed and you feel like someone's watching you.
Mm-hmm.
So then you keep on changing your sleeping position. You turn that way, you turn that way, and you swear like you know for a fact you're alone in the room. There's no one in the
You
room.
feel
Everybody's asleep.
eyes.
Yeah, everybody's asleep. There's no one at everyone's in their bed, but you know for a fact that like you feel like you're being watched, and then you take that look up and then you see that dark figure in your room, but
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, oh no, that's my bookshelf, or like, oh no no, that's just my raincoat. It's like that can't be.
Or my closet's open.
Yeah. So
But
then you're laying there and then your eyes open mad wide. You're like, wait a minute, I don't own a raincoat. Oh,
yeah,
wait a minute, I never opened up my closet door.
that's like what is it? A lot of the games that I watch now, the what do they call them? The one like the small creators, indie
Oh,
games.
oh yeah, the indie games. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, indie games. It's like they'll have like messages where they'll be like, "Oh, hey, can you come by the house because I know we're renting it from you, and normally it's the landlord or whatever doesn't usually come by, and or the what are those things when you rent a house online to stay at for a couple days?
Oh,
Dang,
kind of like
kind of like a hotel except in a house. For anyways, I'm sure people are yelling at us right now, telling us like it's this stupids. Um, but yeah, and then you message the person who owns the property, and you're like, hey, can you just swing by? There's this creepy guy that keeps coming up and knocking on the door, asking like if we ordered a pizza or if we like, hey, they know somebody who lived here, but we're clearly not that person they're looking for, but they keep knocking and insisting that that person lives here, and the landlord or owner won't message back right away because obviously he might be sleeping, he might be doing something or whatever. Then someone knocks on the door and says, "Hey, it's the landlord or it's the owner, or so and so." Maybe they know the landlord or owner's name, so he says the owner's name or whatever, and they go, "Oh yeah," and they let him in, and he's kind of walks around and goes, "That guy's gone. Like I don't know what you're talking about," and starts walking around and kind of looking and like, oh hey, you guys, like make sure you clean up all these like bottles or these pizza boxes, man, like because I don't want to deal with that. But other than that, enjoy yourselves. Like I don't see anything. And then all of a sudden, bloop, and the lady or the guy or whatever looks down at the phone and it says, "I'm out of town. I'm nowhere nearby. Like I can't come to the apartment. You're gonna have to call the police or something." And it's like, okay, so if you text me that, who the fuck is this in front of me standing in the house with me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's stuff like that that you're like, your hair stands up on everywhere, and you're just like goosebumps, and you're like, dude, like that could really happen.
Yeah.
Airbnb, that's what it
Yes, there
is.
you go.
Good
It
lord.
was on the tip of my tongue too, and
I
I was
was
just like, I
like,
was about to say, I was like, hold on, like, I'm trying to think about
but
it.
yeah, I mean, there's creepypastas like that too, where it's like talking about like Walmart experiences at night, like where someone would work at Walmart,
Oh
go
yeah, the night
outside,
shifts or the
yeah,
graveyard shifts. Yeah.
yeah, and they'd go outside to throw out trash, and it's like someone would be in the dumpster or hot like behind the dumpster, and it's like that's real stuff that actually happens, and
Or
it's
the
scary.
the ones in the forest. That one would be get
Yeah,
me. Can you show me how to get
the
to?
Bells Canyon. Oh my
Oh my
god.
god, man.
When I
That
watched
that's
that for the first time, I literally, no lie, I had to turn the lights on. I was like, no,
but that's just like
nah.
can you imagine like me and you we go
Well,
camping and then we're just
it's
chilling
not
whatever
even
like that
like,
and then
it's more of the fact of like you could be walking anywhere. Like you've seen some of the roads around here.
mm-hmm.
Like you could be just walking down these roads, taking a casual walk, taking your dog out or whatever. Someone comes up and says, "Can you tell me how to get to Walmart?" And it's like, go down the street, take a left, keep
Yeah.
going, and then you get to the main road, and it's right down that main road, and they're like, okay. Then they're still following you, and you're like, dude, what the fuck? Like you're starting to get sketched out. I mean, it's like real stuff that could actually happen.
And that's the scary thing too is just like I don't know like they're both their amount of scary when you're dealing with like real people versus like supernatural but like either or like they're both scary but like
Mm-hmm.
which one's more powerful that's like to be more like kind of like determined on the thin
Yeah.
line because like supernatural when you're dealing with you can't really punch you can't punch a ghost
Well, and
you can't really do
it's like you
anything.
said with the rooms. With the rooms, you're like, you can't. That's out of your control. So you're kind of like, yeah, it puts goosebumps on you, makes your hands stand up and your skin crawl a little bit because some of it's like, ooh, that is creepy. Like if that happened to me, I would lose my mind. So, like,
Yeah, because you just keep on going through the rooms and rooms, and then like think that you finally left this weird type of like mental asylum or this fun house, how they call it. Then like you're going through the door and you're like, finally, I finished it. Like I'm leaving, I'm going home. You put your key in the fucking car, and then you put it in drive. You drive home because you know how you got there and you know where you live at. You drive all the way home and then you get inside and stuff like that and like you're relieved, you're so glad that's over. Then you've decided to take a rest because of the amount of stress and tension weighed on you, so you
yeah,
take a nap and then you wake up and you're like, okay, like I'm in my apartment,
yeah,
everything's good. And then you know what, you're like, I'm gonna go like get some fresh air and to take a walk, maybe that'll clear my head because after everything you saw. And then for you to go to your own apartment door, that for you to like
go
leave,
outside.
yeah,
Yeah,
to go outside to see a number on that door, you're like, no, no. That why is that number on there? There should be no reason why that number's on there. You turn the doorknob, and then it's leading into another room,
room
and it's
not
like
outside, and you're
you're
like,
you're you're just like you're at this point like you don't know what to do. You're in mixed emotions. You're in freeze. You're not in fight or flight. You're in freeze because your mind is in shock. Like you want to
you can't
cry. You
comprehend
you
it.
want to be angry. You have so much emotions that you're just like I I don't know I don't know how the hell to get out of this predicament. It's like I just went through all these rooms and I left the fun house and I left there and I went back home and I'm still in this fun house.
Yeah,
Like that's oh my god. That one I will say was that one took the cake for me on that one.
yeah, and yeah, some of those get real like you said, there's ones where it's like you can relate, it's like relatable, and then there's ones where it's like, okay, this is kind of like supernatural, but it also gets under my skin because if I was in that situation, I'd be kind of. There's one kind of like that where it's like It's called Elevate. What the heck is it called? It's like about fixing. Basically, this guy gets hired to fix elevators, and then come to find out, um, they're special elevator mechanics. They're not normal elevator mechanics, so they start fixing elevators, and suddenly, he learns the ropes on how to do it, and he's getting these pointers, and they give him a list, and they're like, "Hey, these are things you don't do in the elevators. If you're fixing an elevator, you basically make sure you put the key in and turn it in the off position. Da 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 da. Make sure you don't stand in the doorway of the elevator. Don't do that.
Yeah.
The basic gist of common knowledge for even a basic real life elevator mechanic." But they were like really stressing it. They made it seem like those creepypastas that constantly have the lists, and they actually said, "Okay, you're gonna go out. I can't work with you today. You gotta work with this other new guy, but I think you guys can handle it because you've been working here a little while now." Goes out. New worker actually ends up freaking dying because the elevator freaking slams shut on his arm and rips, basically slams shut so hard on his arm that it completely severs his arm clean off. Jesus. Opens back up, and he freaking is holding his arm. He's like screaming, and then he falls down, and freaking it slams shut on his head and killed him.
Oh, jeez.
And then there was another one where he had to fix the elevator, and it was like I can't remember if it was a hotel or it was something like an elevator in a hotel or an apartment complex, like a high-rise apartment
Airbnb.
complex.
No, just kidding.
But so the owner was like get pissed. He was like, "Oh, this elevator needs to be fixed now. Like I need it open now. You can't close it for the day." And he's like, I don't have the part. I need to basically like it's closed." And then he's like, "No, it needs to be open." He's like, "You fix it." And then he's like, "All I can do is just it can go, but you're making a big risk by doing it." And then he goes, "No, just turn it on." And then I think he went to reach in for the key or something, and he did. And this elevator literally closed when he was reaching in. He was leaned into the elevator, and it slammed shut on his stomach and his abdomen and crushed it. And then he just, the typical coughing up blood and all that. Then it opened and slammed fully again and completely severed his bottom half from his top half. And his body just slumped down to the ground, and he was just screaming. And then, and he's like, and then come to find out that progressively over the years of him working for this elevator company, he was actually moving forward and getting promoted little by little to become the mechanic for the elevator to hell.
Oh, wow.
It makes a turn, and he finds out that they're having like meetings and stuff, and he's like, all these elevator people, and come to find out that he's part of an elevator company that works for a bigger company that does elevators and gets them functioning to help bring people to hell, essentially.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's like, it's crazy because you're like, well, I could be an elevator mechanic, and that could happen. I mean, an elevator could slam on somebody and kill them. I mean, countless people get stuck in elevators, and they could get wedged in elevator shafts and stuff.
I kind of wonder if there's creepypastas about like day-to-day jobs, though, like custodians and stuff.
Funny that you mentioned that.
Oh, jeez, I shouldn't have opened my mouth.
But there was a creepypasta where, not necessarily custodian point of view. Well, there are custodian point of views where it's like, again, the list. Follow this list. Like, if you see the locker room door open, whichever boys or girls, turn the camera off or turn that camera off and keep it off for approximately a minute and 20 seconds. Turn it back on. If you see the door is still open, turn it back off and immediately call this number.
Yeah, I've heard ones like that. Like it was like McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, or like Subway, any types of places Walmart, like that. Like whatever, if you see someone come to the front door, do not open it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do not do not go into the back room at this set of time.
Yeah,
If you do go into the back room at that certain
find a
time
hiding
and you
spot or
hear a
whatever.
voice, do not answer
Engage
back
or
to it.
yeah.
Or if you see the lights flicker on and off, do not touch the light bulb. Hide, like you said, hide
Yeah.
in the corner. Wait 5 minutes, and then when the lights are done flickering, then you are safe. And it's just like, dude, like all these like why do I gotta do all that? You know what I'm saying? They're
And
just saying that because
some of them address that, and that's why I love creepypasta so much, because again they go into such detail.
yeah,
Because you're like, okay, why do I gotta follow this list and whatever? And then at some point they either have the person who's working or have the person who's working discover, hey, this person left a note, and they'll read the note and it says, the light started flickering, and I thought I could run to the office fast enough, and I saw it, and I can't unsee it, and it's pounding at the door right now, and it's gonna make it in. The door's denting, and slowly the top hinge is already off. I don't know what I'm gonna do if anybody finds this note. Please, and then it's like
yeah,
partially covered in blood, and you're like, what the hell?
yeah, because it's
That's why I get
the
sketched out
descriptive
too,
detail, man.
like, because when you go like in these big warehouses and you're the closer, like the ones that close. Some are 24, like Walmart 24 hours. There's always people in Walmart.
Yeah,
So, but I've always thought like if I worked in like a warehouse or I worked like in these other grocery stores like Publix, or when I worked in Food Line, it was like you had to cut the lights off and you'd be in the back and you would be coming up and all of a sudden the manager would start cutting the lights off and it would get darker and darker, and you're like, you get a little bit of goosebumps every once in a while, like not every time, but you're
yeah.
kind of thinking like, what if I like was walking up and the lights just cut out and I thought it was the manager, but the
That
manager was already gone and I didn't know.
that happened to me a couple times at Market Basket when I worked there. It was a little sketchy like the first couple times because I'm still like a newbie, so I'm just
Yeah.
like, what's going on? And then thankfully I had one of my coworkers. He was like, "You ready to go?" I was like, yeah. Well, what's going on with the lights?" It's like, yeah, the manager's just signaling everyone to like like get out because we're pretty much closing. He just wants to get everything done and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, does he not know that there's people, like at least still inside, like, the facility? And he's like, oh,
Yeah, see,
probably, but he doesn't care. I was like, okay.
yeah, see, y'all still had people, like I'm talking like
Well, like
the
if you didn't
store,
have any, well, I
like
was roaming around
not
for a
not
little
necessarily
bit, but
anybody, but like I've been in the store at Food Line, we'd close at 10, or no, we'd close at 11, and then
that's what time we closed to.
like you said, they would come over the intercom. It is officially 11. We are closed. Please take your items to the register
Hmm.
and make your way out. And they would. They would make their way out, and it would be like almost 12 o'clock. And we're wrapping up, finishing up, freshening up the store. Da 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 da. There's like maybe two workers in the back, and then there's like one cashier, and then um, the manager. So there's only four of you in the entire grocery store. There's no customers, nothing. They're all gone. The parking lot's completely empty. There's four cars in the parking lot, with the exception of if there's a broken down car or whatever.
Yeah,
But there's four cars, four people in the store, and everybody's up front except for you and maybe, like you said, that one other person that fucking comes out of nowhere. Hey, you ready to go? And you're like, Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Like, dude, could you like, be a little more prominent, like maybe stomp your feet as you're
I always like that. That always gets me, man. Like I swear, always. I hate that. Like
See,
fucking
I'll do.
every time, man. I would just be like so infatuated, not even infatuated, but like so focused
Yeah.
on my work, or whatever, like that. Then that random person comes up, like, "Hey, how's it looking?" It's like, "Yo, what the?" I'm like, "Dude, seriously?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to scare you." I'm like, "You didn't mean to scare me." Okay.
See, I'll do that like in the house, cause
Yeah.
I mean, but if I'm like working somewhere, I'm not gonna walk up behind somebody and scare them while they're trying to work or focus. and mess up their leg.
Yeah, because like when I was working at like warehouses jobs, always like that, especially on a forklift. Oh my god, man, that should be mad annoying. Over here moving shit on the forklift and stuff like that. And like, oh yeah, it looks pretty good, dude. What the, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
all the freaking shells start falling over.
Like, knock on wood, but like I was pretty damn decent on driving the forklift. I had my fair mistakes, but like I knew when to be like cautious and stuff like that.
Now he sucks, guys.
Partially.
1 year out of the job and he sucks.
Yep. It dies down. It dies down.
But no. All right. I'm trying to think. I guess I'll do. I'm stuck. I don't know if I should do the rake or if I should do. Freaking. I don't know. I would say Slenderman, but that's too like.
Well, like that's like I don't know. Like those ones are like too generic. The ones that I'm more so like thinking about are like the ones that like really like go like in depth. Like there was one that I remember listening to. It was a father and son, and this was like I guess like I don't know what the hell you would call the creature. I have no idea what it was, but the way the Creepypasta described it, it was something not of this world. Yeah. So the father and son, the father took the son and they were heading home because he picked him up from somewhere. I forgot where he picked him up. And they're they're just driving, they're casually talking, and then the son's just like, "Hey, Dad, what's that's moving in the fields?" And he's just like, "Oh, well, that's probably like just some cattle or something." And he's like, "Oh, okay." They're driving. Keep in mind, there's no lights. There's no traffic. It's pretty much just them because at the time they're driving, it's pretty much like that. You're talking about in the boonies. Like there's no city life or whatever like that. So they just driving. And keep in mind, he's doing like a nice constant speed. Nothing like too crazy, but like he's doing a nice speed. And then the son looks over and he's just like, it's still moving. It's following us. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, it's following us and it keeps on coming. And
like something's chasing it.
Yes, basically. And the way the son described it, he was just like it's moving. It's moving really fast towards us. And the father was just like, hold on,
car? What are you talking about?
He's driving in his truck, and he just keeps on moving forward. Mm-hmm. And then he's just like, what the hell? And then he looks in the rearview mirror, and then he sees it. And the way he described it was like this big, black, like hairy figure, talking about like arms like long. I'm talking about like almost yes, an over exaggerated like werewolf,
like a slender werewolf.
Yes, like this thing was but this thing was like moving at speed to keep up.
What you're talking about?
Yeah, it was keeping up with his truck, and he's just like, hold on. But the crazy thing was that while they were driving, they were both feeling drowsy. Like they were both like slowly, like kind of like falling asleep. Even the dad, he was just like slowly steering and stuff like that. And then the son was just like, Dad, like wake up. Like he's still behind us. And then the dad's just like, okay. And he's like, Dad, go faster, Dad, go faster. And this thing is just like, just like charging towards it, and they like literally like cutting through, trying to keep on going down the road as fast as this dude was at least like probably hitting. He went from 40 to 60 to 80 to like pretty much hitting 100, and this thing is still keeping up track. And he's just like, son of a bitch, and he just like kept on like going higher gears. And the more closer it got to them, the more drowsier and the more like sleep impediment they would get, and the like tired they would get. And then finally, eventually, I guess it reached its boundary or its out zone, where the creature kind of like slowed back, kind of steered down, and it kind of like stood back. But the way that they described it, it had red eyes, black figure standing tall, long arms, long legs,
Yeah.
like hairy figure. And when they finally got out of it, the drowsiness and the confusion like went away, and they finally were able to get home. But like that thing was like hauling ass on them, like hauling ass.
Yeah. Trying to think. That's why I'm kind of like I said, the Slender Man one is pretty generic. Um, Jeff the Killer is a pretty common one,
Yeah,
but it definitely goes into detail. It's a long one, and there's multiple. But
the
then
Disney one is a good one.
there's a Jane the Killer. So
Oh,
that's a
I didn't know. I didn't know
yep.
about that
There's
one.
Jane the Killer. Same concept, except I believe she does scissors. She's more of scissors as her weapon.
Oh,
Versus
okay.
Jeff the Killer really has no. I mean, he usually
Yeah,
puts a pillow over your face and puts you to sleep, or knives, or glass, or whatever he can get to.
yeah.
But and then but yeah, what was it? What was the one you were just saying?
Oh,
Before
the
I said
Disney one.
Disney one.
The Disney one and the Russian one. That
Yeah.
the Russian one that one was
Russian sleep experiment.
yeah, that was actually pretty that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
And that I
But that
believe
shit
that there
happens.
yes, that's what I'm
That's
saying. That one
legit.
that is actually a scary part, is that that's actually true.
And people have done that where there's people out there that have recorded where they voluntarily have done sleep experiments where they've been up for maybe like 4 or 5 days.
Because
not
back
even.
then it didn't really matter about anything that was ethical. It didn't really matter
Yeah.
about that. It wasn't really about that principle. They were
Well,
just trying to do
and
procedures, and they wanted to see like how long can this person last. They were doing tests, and
well,
they didn't care about the
they did
justify.
quick waivers that people wouldn't even read, or even if they did read it, they were like, well, "I'm gonna get paid a lot of money. I'll be fine."
Exactly. As long as they were getting paid.
They're thinking if it becomes too much, they're gonna stop it and they'll just pull me out, and and either restart it, or they'll get somebody else to do it and give me a portion of the money.
Right.
It doesn't matter. People weren't really thinking back then. They just saw the dollar signs and were like, "Oh, this is gonna be great."
Yeah.
And then the only reason I said the rake was because I know it's kind of generic, but at the same time, it's kind of like it falls under that creature vibe that could be out there and you don't even know it. It's kind of like Bigfoot, kind of like the
Well,
Yeti.
it's funny that you mentioned that, because there's a forest. It's still true to this day. There's actually two actually real forests that are out there that actually are very true. First one, I'm trying to remember the name of the first one. The second one I know by heart. It's Suicide Forest. I think it's in
It's in
Japan,
Japan.
or China. It's in Japan.
Because what's his name?
Not Jake. Luke. Yeah,
Logan.
Luke was in there.
You mean Logan?
Oh yeah, Logan.
I was
Logan.
like,
Yeah. Logan.
Because he took a picture or video of the girl hanging.
But he didn't know that she
And
was
started
actually
laughing.
he didn't know that she was
Bro,
actually.
how you?
But it's just like you're in the
Bro.
suicide forest. Like how did you not know?
Even like it don't matter what for. I don't care if you're in fucking Pony Club Forest, Pink Pony Club Forest. You see someone hanging by their neck, and even if you thought, well, maybe they're hanging and the rope is under their arms, dude, how long have they been there? Like you got to really think and be like, that person's hanging there and they're not moving.
And the reason
and they're pale.
the reason why they call it suicide forest is that like that's what people would do when they go to the forest, is that when they want to commit suicide, that's where they go. But it's not even like, sometimes people will go there just to kind of speculate, see what it's all about, but then you start hearing the voices,
And they start
then when
feeling it.
you start feeling it, because the depression, the sadness, it starts feeding into you, and then you start going down more. Then you hear the voices, and then the voices start talking to you. Then you hear the sadness, and you think that someone's
So-
there, but there's no one there.
Mind you, so what they do is a lot of times they tell people they made it to a point where they were like, you know what, we can't stop these people. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So they start.
I mean, they
telling
had the
people-
warning, yeah.
They say, just get a thing of rope or twine or
Mhm.
whatever, and tie it to a tree right outside the edge of the forest.
And follow your track.
and then bring it in with you to help you either get out or to help us find your body.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to commit suicide, at least put a rope so that way we can go in and get your body and get it out and bring it to your family.
Yeah, because at that point you're pretty much you're doing it to yourself, and then on top of that, they need to wait to discover the body, and then the other one was started with an A. I think it was like Albanani like forest or something like that. But this forest is known for like supernatural, but not only supernatural, but also like people who like live in that forest that are deranged. Like there was
Yeah.
this one dude that he went in there, and this was at night, and he was reading notes, and then he kept on going forward, and then he stumbled upon, and then he found like a little outhouse, and he was reading the notes in the outhouse, and turns out those notes that were written in there was from a person who escaped prison. So he was a convicted convict,
Mm.
and he escaped prison. But the notes that he was writing wasn't anything like like crazy, whatever like that. But he was just talking about his experience of him being in the prison and what he's seen in the prison or what he's seen in the forest and stuff like that. And then as he's reading the notes and stuff like that, he heard like something rustle in the bushes, and then he tried to say like, "Hey, like who's there?" The person didn't answer, but you could clearly see in the video, like clearly as day, someone's there, but they didn't say anything. They didn't do anything. They just like stood frozen, and he's just like, all right, guys, I'm a go because I don't know if this person's gonna try to hurt me or something like that. So
Yeah, it's
I'm just
messed up.
gonna keep on going. So then after that, it was just like, dude, like just having that experience in that forest. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
That just tells you it right there.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's like the Wendigo stories that they talk about. It's like the Wendigos can learn your patterns and learn your family members and learn their voices, learn your voice, and kind of picture it and remember it, and then they go in and kill the person or kill whatever it is, and they can use the skin of it to
Well, yeah,
basically mimic.
there was one video where this lady, she was in her house. It was a older black lady, and she was in her room, whatever like that, and then out of nowhere came out a dog,
Yeah,
and then she was just like, "Oh, hello," like, "Hey there," and stuff like that, and the dog just stood there, kept on looking at her, and she was just like, "I just want to let you guys know I don't own a dog. I've never had a dog in my whole entire life. I don't know whose dog this is. This is my own apartment. This is my own place. I don't know whose dog this is." And the dog is just staring at her. And it's a little small dog. It's not like a huge giant dog that, saying it kind of, like configure itself and then kind of like, skip by it. No, it was a small dog.
yeah,
And it was just the fact that she never had a dog,
yeah,
doesn't even know where this dog came from, and then somehow came inside her house and was just like straight up dead eye looking at her, staring at her.
yeah.
That's oh my god.
And
That's
then I
mm,
mean, and even like let's say the dog like is in the apartment or in the house or whatever or near the house, and then it could go like behind the house and be like where maybe your hose is or where your electric box is or whatever, or it could go goes down into the basement. Maybe you don't see the dog go down in the basement, but it goes down in the basement, and then it replicates your wife's voice or your husband's voice or your brother's voice or sister's voice, and it replicates it and says, "Hey, can you come down and help me with this electrical? Hey, can you come down and help me this door, like the stairs railing is kind of rocking and falling off. I need someone to help me
or like,
hold it
hey,
in place."
can you open the door?
Yeah, or hey, can you open the door for me? I got a bunch of stuff in my hands. And it's like, oh yeah, sure. And next thing you know, you open the door, and this little dog is there, and then it just freaking transforms into this beast and kills you, and then takes your skin, And then next thing you know, it's walking around in the house as that person. And then the husband comes home, or the wife, or the brother, sister, cousin, whatever comes
And then
home.
it just continues.
Continues on, and they just keep feeding and feeding, and it's just crazy how
Oh,
the unknown is the scariest thing.
yeah.
You don't know if skinwalkers are real. You don't know if Bigfoot is real. You don't know if, um, you know, the rake is real. You don't know if there's actually like this.
So
this
what's the story about the rake? Because that one I'm not really too
So
familiar with. Is that like
the rake basically, if I remember correctly, it started off with there was these two adults and they had kids, I believe, and so they put their kids to bed and they were laying down. They went to lay down in their bed. This is a sped up version. It goes into
yeah,
way more
that's fine.
detail. Um, but basically, they're laying down, and so they're like, you know, laying in bed. All of a sudden, they hear some noise. They're like, huh, maybe the kids are just getting like a glass of water or something, or maybe they're just like whatever. So they're like kind of, they ignore it a little bit, and then they don't hear anything, and then they kind of feel a weight on their bed, like near their feet,
Oh jeez.
and then they look down, and all they see is this figure contorted and like bent in ways that you should not, like a thing should not be bent. And it looks like they want to say like it looks like a four-legged creature, but it's not because it's sitting down like a human. But at the same
Oh,
time, its arms and like are super long, and it's like hunched over, and it's just like, what in the world is that? Its skin is like pale white, so it's not like you're like, oh, it has fur. It could be an animal. No, this thing's like it's skin,
oh jeez.
and you're like pale white. Its eyes are like black, like there's nothing there, no pupils, no nothing. It's just black zone, like there's a great beyond in it.
Oh,
And this thing has like super sharp teeth and this big grin on it, like it's just unnatural. And next thing you know, the kids woke up and go in their parents' room and find mutilated, like completely. The bed is like razored, the freaking whole room is turned over. There's claw marks everywhere, the freaking body parts everywhere, blood everywhere, just completely shredded the room. And then it ends with the police showing up, and basically that's how they describe it. Basically, they were mutilated, and the room was mutilated, and I mean,
wow.
definitely something worth checking out, because it's like again, it's like kind of like a skinwalker, but it's like this is the rake. It comes at night, and it usually easily gets into your house. There's no stopping it. It gets into your house, and it could just be sitting at the foot of your bed, and you look at it, and it just kills you.
Damn.
So I mean, in a way, it kind of seems like it's an SCP. Those SCP things where
Oh yes,
where
yeah.
you look at it and it'll, if the one that I'm talking about is if you look at it, it doesn't move, but the minute you break eye contact of it, it moves so fast,
That reminds me
lightning
of
speed.
the other one with it was like a deformed female thing. I'm trying to remember what it was called specifically, but it was another one that was kind of similar to that too.
Yeah, there's so many like that. I mean, there's, like I said, you got skinwalkers, you got the rake, you got freaking um, Wolfman,
Oh, do you remember Sleeping
you
Dog?
got sleeping
Oh no,
dog.
no, not
Oh
Sleeping
no,
Dog, Smiling.
smiling dog.
Yeah, if
So
you got that
smiling,
email,
smiling
that one
dog,
was like
JPEG.
the picture was like I will say that picture
That
was
was
like
fucking
pretty
freaky.
fucking like yeah creepy as hell because at first it was just like a husky's face and then
It got worse progressively as
yeah
it
and
got
then
set.
it went into like a whole demonic face and I was like okay now that's fucking creepy. I'm
And
like
then
okay
people would kill themselves after they saw the image, because after a while, like the first couple pictures, they kind of felt, they looked at the dog and they were like, it's a cute husky, but it makes me feel uncomfortable and weird.
Yeah.
And then progressively, people would keep saying it.
Keep on getting the same email, and it was just
and
like,
it would get worse. They would be like, I feel scared. Like, I don't like this. Like, I feel like I need to do something or whatever. And then progressively it got worse and worse. And they were like, dude, I'm scared. Like, I can't do that. And then next thing you know, they're hanging themselves and then so on, or killing. And it's just really like, if some of these creepypastas, if you listen to them, you really have to go in there with like a strong mind, because some of them can go into topics about sensitive stuff.
yeah.
So if you're sensitive to suicide and stuff like that, probably not.
Like,
You gotta tread careful.
the one that I like also, and that was based off a true story, was your boy, I keep forgetting his name,
Mr. Ballin.
Mr. Ballin, the one that he had that
in New Hampshire on the ski,
yeah,
not the ski resort,
White Mountains, wasn't it?
Yeah, the White Mountains.
Yeah, that one was like, that's crazy, and it kind of makes you think. And like, if you guys heard the story, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, you kind of got to look at it and think of it like in two types of ways. It's like, you don't know if that thing was what she was saying it was, like, or if it was something else.
It's like, is it really this lady's husband? Like, is it really my friend's dad or my friend's wife's husband, or not my friend's mom's husband, or is it my friend's dad? And it's like, or is it something more? Like, is it something that does mean ill intent? Is it demonic? Are demons real? Are ghosts real?
Yeah, real? I mean, like, to be honest with you, like, I don't nod it. I don't, like, I'm not one of those types of people that I don't believe in ghosts, because I definitely believe in them.
You're middle ground.
I'm definitely middle ground. I'm like, I believe enough to know not to fuck with it. Yeah. Like, you would never catch me with the Ouija board. You would never catch me with like people who like, oh yeah, like let's mess around with like this, like, you know, Indian freaking like burial ground, or like let's, you know, play around with the Ouija board. I'm like, nope, that's where I'm gonna call it. I'm all set. Like, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and if I don't see you guys tomorrow, I know what happened. And if you guys are starting to experience crazy things, keep me out of your orbit. I am not in your atmosphere. As far as you know, I'm in a different state, because the thing is, if it latches onto one person, it's going to latch onto, especially if that thing feels and like knows that the other people in that environment or that area, that it's scared and stuff like that, they're going to feed into that more. And it's like, I can't be here.
That's
like thing. I could already sense what I'm feeling inside this place. I am all set. You know, y'all decided what y'all wanted to do, and y'all fucked around and y'all found out. That's on you guys, but I can't be here any longer. Yeah. I'm all set.
Yeah, see, I'm the type of person that's, I gotta be with somebody or be with a group of people, but you're not gonna catch me, like you said, going to an Indian burial ground or going to an empty hospital or an abandoned.
I don't know about that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I would ever even come down to doing something like that, like going to like a mental asylum or like abandoned places.
Because I feel like if someone got hurt in there, like let's say prime example, we went into one and you got hurt, like I would have to be confident enough that I could pick you up and carry you out of there successfully while also not getting hurt myself.
Yeah, because like let's be honest, like if you hear like a freaking loud bang or whatever like that, but you know for a fact that it's only you and your boy that's went in there, and this place is supposed to be abandoned.
Either
you know
one,
what I'm saying?
An
like,
animal, or two,
it could be someone.
Yeah,
it could be someone else, or it could be like, you know, what you guys were, you know, supposedly trying to find out if there's like demonic presence and stuff like that. I would say the technology that they have nowadays to inspect like spiritual phenomenon is, you know, they have a lot of tools. They have the EMPs for electric, EMF, electric voice phenomenon, or EVP. So it's just basically it's taking whatever is for those type of spiritual voices, and then it channels it into the box. Then they have like a spirit box. They have what's it called, like light sequences that will be able for it to light up if it's been pressed by any type of weight,
Yeah.
whether it's like good or bad or whatever like that. If it
Hmm.
feels the weight of whatever type of pressure of energy, it's gonna light up.
Yeah.
um I mean, I've seen like tons of videos of doors closing by themselves. I've seen videos of like seeing a dark figure. I've seen videos of like things getting like freaking like thrown across the room, and like there's no wires there's nothing there, there's no
Yeah.
wires. So you know for a fact like clearly something had to pick that thing up and throw it across the room.
Yeah.
And if you anger these spirits in any type of way, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if it was like me and you, and they were like, we looked up and we saw like, hey, there's this hotel that's haunted, but there was people like they promoted it and people stayed there on a regular. Like we weren't by ourselves. It was like, you know, 30 or 40 other people are going to be staying there. Like
Yeah.
it's a small hotel, but it's not like, you know, then I would probably do it. I'd be like, yeah, Brian, we could do it. Like just, spend a night, see if we anything weird happens, and if something weird happens, jet on out of there. And
Yeah.
then we experienced it.
Yeah.
Like kudos.
But it's just the fact, because I know like mostly like it sucks, but mostly the creepy stuff that happens has to be by yourself,
Yeah.
because it's like they try to single them out, like they can't have like a max amount of numbers. Now there's been times where it could be like a group of 5 people, and
Well,
the spirit just doesn't really give a damn.
yeah. Well, I've been there was a restaurant in Nashua right on Amherst Street. And so we were eating there and they were told that it used to be a not like a pub, but it was kind of like a bar and a place that people went to eat and drink and stuff like that. But it was a bit smaller, but over time it's expanded. But apparently she had been killed there or hung or whatever. And so she had haunted the place. She haunted the place, and constantly they're saying, like, crazy stuff would happen in the kitchen, crazy stuff would happen to diners, great, like, people who were dining.
Yeah.
Crazy things would happen to, like, the waiters and waitresses when they're trying to, like, they would go to bring out a water, and then next thing you know, when they go to grab it off their tray, it's, like, gone and missing, and they're like, okay. Or dishes would get knocked over and stuff like that. And so we were like, let's check it out. Like, it's a restaurant and it's open. People are eating there. And we went there and there was like, I mean, most of the tables were full. There's only a couple tables that were empty. And so we went there and my phone, I I believe my phone fell out of my pocket. But what freaks me out is that I didn't like normally you would hear your phone hit the floor. I mean, you
Yeah.
hear it. So I mean, even on a carpet floor, a fluffy carpet floor that we have here, I can hear the thump. Maybe not in the mic, but we heard it.
Yeah.
But we're talking like the floor there was like a very thin rug. It wasn't like no fluffy rug. It was
Yeah.
thin.
It wasn't thick.
So you would have heard it definitely, or you would have heard it clang and hit the chair or something. But I didn't hear it. And then to top it off, I got ready to leave and I felt my pockets and I was like, and then I looked on the table because I'm like, okay, sometimes I like will shoot a couple text messages at the beginning while we're waiting, getting our drinks or ordering our drinks. I'll send a couple text messages so that way it's done and I'll answer them all after we get done eating and ready to leave. Um, but I looked on the table, it wasn't there, and I said, it's here. I'm like, I didn't leave my phone in the car, did I? And she said, no, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you had it on you because I saw you were texting while we were ordering our drinks. And I said, yeah, but normally I set it on the table. And she's like, did you stick it in your pocket? I said, no, I just felt my pockets. And so I'm looking around, she's looking around, and I stand up and I move the chair. And the waitress comes over with the drinks, and she goes, you okay? And I'm like, I'm just looking for my phone. It fell. It must have fell or something. And she's like, you want to, she's like, I could check the booth next door, or like next to us. And so she asked the people, she's like, hey, have you seen a phone, or did a phone drop? And she's looking. And so I'm thinking, well, I must have left this phone in the car, or maybe I left it at the animal place where we dropped off this bunny that Sierra's sister had. So I was like, maybe I left it there. Maybe it fell out of my pocket there, or maybe I set it down when I was, handing over the bunny cage and the bunny. And so we are like, okay, well, let's eat, finish eating, whatever, and then we'll go to the animal place or check the car or whatever. So we eat, check the car, not there, drive to the animal place. I called the animal place. One, I told the restaurant to keep an eye out. Two, I called the animal place and told them, hey, I'm coming because I think I might have left my phone there because I don't have it now. It's not at the restaurant we just ate at, and it's not in my car. So I'm like, it's got to be with you guys. And so the animal place goes, okay, we haven't seen a phone or had one turned in, but yeah, you're welcome to come and check. So we got there. I go in and I'm looking around and I'm like, where the heck is this thing? I'm looking under like the little bench that we sat at, and I'm looking and it's a small lobby, very small. And I'm like, okay, because it's a shelter. And I'm like, all right. So I go outside and I look around kind of between the doors to the car where I parked and then where I parked last time. And I'm like looking around. There's not a lot of cars. There's only one other car where I was parked at before, and then there's one like a second car parked where I think it was employee parking or like parking to get to the back of the establishment. And so I go and pull out, or I get in the car. I tell Sierra, I'm like, let's go back to the restaurant again and check. I'm like, I can't. I need a phone. Like,
yeah,
because we got plans. We were gonna go to my grandfather's and other stuff, and I was like, I need my phone.
Yeah.
Or I need a phone. So get in the car and head back to the freaking restaurant. Go to walk in, and they're like, oh, did you you need a seat? And I'm like, I'm just here to look for my phone. I sat over in the room over there, and I just wanted to check to see if my phone had fallen. Did anyone turn in a phone by chance? And she said, no one turned in a phone. But she's like, you're very welcome to check. She's like, just, if anyone's sitting there, just let them know you were looking for a phone, and it should be good.
Yeah.
So I went in there. No one was sitting where we had sat. And so I look under, like, her seat, under the table, and then I look under my seat. There's the phone, sitting there, face up and on.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
And I'm like, no. I'm like, me and Sierra looked. The waitress even looked at the table next door, like next to us. And then she clearly, if she saw it, she would have said something, you would think. Man. And then to top it off, you mean to tell me no one sat at our seat the whole... And we weren't like, it wasn't like, oh, we were gone 5 minutes. Like, this animal shelter was a decent way away. It was probably like a good 15-20 minute drive there, and then 15-20 minute drive back. So you mean to tell me over the course of like 40 minutes to an hour, no one sat at our seat and no one saw, like, hey, there's a phone on the floor, let's pick it up.
Is there like a lift? Is there like a space in between?
It's a four-legged chair that's wide open.
Oh my god.
Four-legged chairs. It wasn't a booth where it could be up, like you said, up underneath where it would be covered. This thing, like I said, I looked at her side, I looked at the table, and then I looked at my side. Instantly saw it because it was right there under my chair, literally face up. Phone was on. The screen was lit up. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I don't believe that there's some, like, it didn't feel like something wanted to hurt me, but I was like, there was definitely, I felt like goosebumps, and I was like, there's something that manipulated this situation. Like something manipulated my phone, whether it was out of my pocket or maybe it was sitting on my lap. Because sometimes I'll put stuff on my lap, like my controller or
Yeah.
whatever, and it'll fall. And I'm like, something manipulated it when it fell and cushioned it or
Yeah,
something.
because you would feel if you like kicked your foot back, and you would feel like, oh,
Yeah.
you kind of look down and
Or
you
even
be
if
like, oh,
even if I got up and pushed my chair in, like I always do, and then I would be like, because that's the first thing you do is usually check your pockets, check the table that you're at, or check, your desk or wherever you're at,
yeah,
and get up and then look around. I mean, you're gonna look for a good bit because you're looking for something, opposed to being like someone asks you, "Hey, have you seen my car keys or have you seen my phone?" You might just quickly glance and be like, "Nope, haven't seen it." But if it's yours, you're gonna look for it. You're gonna
yeah,
invest in that.
yeah. Of course, yeah. Did you look underneath when you first
Yeah,
lost
I
it?
looked all underneath.
Oh,
So I
Jesus
sat
Christ.
down and, like I said, I checked my pockets, checked the table, and then Sierra was like, "Well, I saw you with it. You didn't leave it in the car." And I'm like, "Are you sure? Because I mean, I don't. It's." She's like, "Did you put it in your pocket or on your lap? Did it fall?" And I'm looking. I'm looking on the table, and she's like, "Because I swear because you were texting while we ordered our drinks, and then I didn't see you with it again." And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I maybe it's at the animal shelter or something, or in the car,
Yeah, just trying to, yeah,
trying to like
figure out
figure out
where
where
exactly.
it is. And so we stood up and we were looking, and then waitress came over. "You guys okay? Like, what are you?" And
Yeah.
then I was like, "I'm looking for my phone," and she's like, "He just had it. Like, it was here." And she's like, "Okay, well, did you drop it? Did you check under the
Well,
table, under your
what
chair?"
phone did you have? Like an iPhone at the time?
I think it was it was an
No, no,
iPhone.
not that it matters. I'm just saying, like, just in like.
It was an iPhone. Find me. No, it was I think it was my iPhone 6 at the time. That was hype for me.
Yeah, yeah,
At the
yeah.
time, I think they were out on the iPhone like 12. iPhone 12. They were getting ready to come out with the 13. I was on iPhone 6 over here, like, yeah.
But
But
yeah, no. Regardless, yeah, that's.
but just the fact that I looked, not just me, like you're talking me, Sierra,
The
the
waitress.
waitress, and then the fact that nobody sat at that table for a whole entire hour. And it's not like, I mean, okay, for clarification, it also wasn't like it was super late at night where dinner time was over, or it wasn't like super early where it was breakfast and they served
It
all
was
their
like in the
lunch.
mid.
It was in the mid. It was like, I think it was like, we went there, I think, at like 10 something. They were like just starting. They
Oh, okay.
opened up, they were like open for probably about an hour.
So you guys are like around there, like around like 11ish.
Yeah, so right as lunch was getting ready to start, we quickly figured, let's eat, let's get out before the lunch rush comes in. And then a whole like hour later, I come back around noontime, and like I said, there's only like 2 tables available
Right.
when we were there. Now there's like almost no tables available, and there's tons of people at the bar. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, where? And then boom, I'm like, gotta be kidding me. I'm like, there's no way this phone was under that chair with the screen on. Like, maybe the screen wasn't on, but even then, that's besides the point. There's no way this phone was sitting on the floor under my chair, which is wide open. I could see it before I even walked. Like, I walked close to the table, but I wasn't like up on the
Yeah,
table.
yeah, yeah.
And boom, I saw it, and I'm like,
But like I said, it's one of those things. Is like you would have felt the weight get lifted or something like
yeah,
that. Or again, if you would have kicked it, you know what I'm
kicked
saying? You
it,
would have felt like, you would have felt like if you kicked something and you would have kind of like glanced
or
down.
you would have heard it vibrating at least. I mean, people are like, oh, maybe the restaurant was loud, like the pots and pans banging, all these people talking. Like, no, you would have heard it. Like, when my phone literally, I will be sleeping and I put my phone on my bed, like not under my pillow, but like on my
Yeah, just
bed,
like on the
off to
side.
the side, and I wake up to the vibration.
Yeah, because you could hear like the little
Yeah,
mm.
and it's not like I'm a light sleeper. Like if I turn my alarm off, like today, I didn't have an alarm, and I slept till like right up till I had to go and get the cake for my daughter's birthday. It's like if I don't have to wake up and I know I don't have anything planned, I will sleep. And
Yeah.
there is nothing that will wake me up. Like you can scream in the hallway, you can like, make a lot of noise. Now if you like throw a glass bottle and it breaks, I'm gonna wake up because I'm gonna be like, who broke something? What the hell's going on? Because my
Yeah.
mind registers that something is
Yeah.
not right. Versus, maybe you walk through the house and you're like playing music loud a little bit. It ain't gonna bother me. But I mean, it's just it was weird. I mean, even if you put it all aside and you're like, you know what, maybe you didn't hear it. Maybe I have bad hearing. It's like, still, for nobody to see it, multiple eyes, not just one set of eyes, not two sets of eyes, but you're talking three, however many are in that restaurant between that whole hour it took me to look for it in the car, then get in the car, drive to this animal shelter, look at the animal shelter, look outside the animal shelter, get back in the car, look in the car again, see if it's under my seat, see if it fell. Maybe it's under the floor mat. Maybe it's freaking in the back. Maybe it fell and slid all the way back to the back seat. I'm like, or maybe it's, on the back seat where the bunny was, where I had to take the bunny out, or like,
Yeah.
looking everywhere. So it's not like it was like, from the restaurant in the car to the animal shelter back to the restaurant. Like there was like a lot of time and expense done to look for this phone, and then make it back to the hotel. Nobody sat at this table.
Yeah, that's
It's like something must have like told or like pushed these waitresses or waiters to not like. And you can't say, oh well, it was staged. Like they probably saw the phone and was like, oh, this dude's looking for his phone. Let's mess with him and like tell him we don't know where it is, and then
yeah.
we won't sit anybody there. We'll leave the phone there. They're not going to do that because then they're not going to make money. These waitresses got to make money because they got to get tips. They ain't going to get a tip if they limit the tables that they use just because they want to do a little prank.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little prank where it's like, oh, we don't know where your phone is. They would have said, we don't know where your phone is. Let me leave, and then picked up the phone, held on to it, and then let someone sit there. And then when I came back, they would have like put it under another table that was like nearby and empty. Like you're not gonna jeopardize your income or your money to play a joke. So, but yeah, that's the gist of my actual experience of a ghost phenomenon in a big area too with a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it. I mean, I don't have any experiences like that. I've never had experiences like that, and I don't, and I don't want to have any experiences like that or anything close to it. But that will do it for this podcast, and we will see you guys soon. Peace.